start button.
Gets things going.
Come on. Come on. Hey. That looks promising.
I've just tweeted that we're live.
Well, I hope it's true. I think we're live. You know, one of these times. Hey, we're live! Okay, cool.
It worked.
Hello, stream. Well, you know, the start button's finicky. Like, sometimes it's just I hit the button and then poof, we're live. And sometimes I hit the button and then it feels like 5 minutes later, finally we're getting, things are rolling. And I'm just like, oh.
Wait for the stream to get out of bed.
Yep. I had to get out of bed this morning, and that was difficult. That took a lot of willpower.
Yeah, I know the feeling.
Hey, it's a Haniqua!
Hey, Haniqua.
Oh. Yeah, I tell you, I was over at my brother's last night, and I decided I would go over there and show off Halo 5, because, that's what you do. And so I was over there and awake until 2 a.m. before I decided to try and sleep on his couch, and so then I was awake until I don't know when. So now I'm here. I've been awake for about an hour and a half, running on some frame of sleep that I don't really know, eating a bowl of cereal, and getting ready to try and communicate incredibly complex lore. I'm really good at my life decisions.
That sounds kind of like my life decisions. Like I was saying to you earlier, I couldn't sleep because I have a cold. I was like, I need notes. Can I wing it on no notes? No, I can't. So I woke up at 6, wrote a bunch of notes, which took about an hour and a half, went back to sleep, woke up for this, and then I'm going to go to sleep after this.
Yeah, you should.
So we're tired. We're tired. Please excuse.
Which is ironic, because this is the morning now. Like, we went through all this effort to not be tired, so we would do it, earlier, and it would be good. And now here we are, and we're both tired, and it's the morning. It's just
we do this for you guys to bring you lore and stories that bring Destiny to life. It is a labor of love.
It is. It's labor of love. Well, Haniqua loves you back. Apparently, your favorite, Lau.
Haniqua.
Your favorite.
Ooh, favoritism.
Yeah. It's okay. I just read
Blade.
stuff. You're the one.
Blade love. He reads all the grimoires.
I just read stuff. You're the one who knows everything. No, I read and theorize. Okay. Well, this is gonna be a fun verse from the Book of Sorrows. As much as any of these verses are fun, this one's just creepy. Like, all of them are creepy, but this one's just creepy and confusing. And when you're confused and something's creepy, I think it gets more creepy.
Fear of the unknown.
Yeah, there you go. That makes it logical. Oh. Okay, so this first verse is verse 40 from the Book of Sorrows, and it is titled "A Golden Amputation." Oh, so let's see if I can read in the morning. Wrath. Behold the wrath of Oryx, coiled for 10,000 years. Behold the golden amputation, the fall of Tishabeth, the end of an age. We beat the worlds of Tishabeth like skull drums, and we howl in joy for our black war moons, as they ram silver orbitals and gleaming star webs, where infant Tishabeth's sun ravens curl and die unborn. In his throne world, Oryx paces 10 times. On the first pace, Kragor sends the Cursed to blight the Tishabeth worlds. On the second pace, the Tai unleash their battle plates and arsenal ships to fight our moons. On the third pace, Oryx's war priest meets them in battle, and he is victorious. He paints the void with fire. He salts the earth with ash. On the fourth pace, Menghor and Kara Adug, Dyad knights, go to the Raven Bridge, and they stand on it and kill the Tai for 10 years. On the fifth pace, the Tai Emperor Raven comes home to her bridge, and she cuts a moon with her talons. She cuts it open and kills its brood. On the 6th pace, Oryx speaks, saying, "Listen to me, Emperor Raven, and I will describe to you the last true shape, which is written on my tablet." And he puts out his fist full of black fire, and he swallows up the Emperor Raven with a wound. Ayat, only Oryx knows this power, the power to take. On the 7th pace, the perfect raven comes out of Oryx's wound, and she spreads her wings across Taishabeth. Never again is a Taishabeth child born. She is perfect. She enacts the will of Oryx. On the 8th pace, the Tais say, "Listen, you are spoilers, you are sphincters and excreta, you rot. Why do you kill? We made silver orbitals and golden star webs, we hatched eggs, we had a good thing. Our clothes were nice, our food was famous. With one of her feathers, our emperor could have tickled the gods." On the 9th pace, Oryx says, "This is the only god. This ability to dictate what will and will not exist. This power to go on existing. This is your god. It is never ticklish." On the 10th pace, the Taishabeth are extinct. Then Oryx says, "Listen, my siblings, do you know what we have done? We have conquered our way to the edge of the deep. It whispers to me when I call on it, and it guides my flight. It says that we are at its threshold, and that I should come inside. I will go and speak to it." Oh look! Another really cool species rendered extinct because Oryx is a jerk.
Yeah, pretty much. For someone who's half asleep, that was very well read.
Thank you. I'm empowered by my cereal, I guess. I don't know.
Serial power.
Yeah.
But yeah, that one is creepy. There's a lot mentioned in that.
There is.
Specifically the number of paces, which kind of explains that in the Ascendant Realm, time is different to what it is in the material world. Either time there is faster, or time does not exist at all. Not sure which one it is, but both display the power of the Sword Realm, which has been brought into existence by the will and slaughter of Oryx. So if you can manipulate time by murdering whole species, that's pretty terrifying.
Yeah. You know, it's interesting. The sword logic concept. I was just puzzling over it the other day. I've watched a couple shows where they delve into these idea of like things that fiddle with concepts, and the sword logic is built on this idea of like perfecting a concept through the obtainment of power via killing or cutting. Even like the idea is even carving out knowledge, which is just interesting because the sword logic came from the worms. So it theoretically is something that was devised by, Nightbot, the streamer today, is not the Needless Mage. If somebody wanted to tell Nightbot not to say that, that would be super cool. Because I am not Mage.
Nightbot's still asleep.
Yeah, Nightbot's more drowsy than I am. So, where is my brain? Anyways, so...
Sword logic.
Yeah, the sword logic. So the sword logic is this weird quasi-conceptual ability to manifest power and knowledge through killing something else that's powerful and knows a lot. And it's just fascinating, because that makes me wonder, is that how the Ahamkara themselves gain power? Like, is that the basis?
We might never know. We might find out in the near future. But that is a good shout.
Well, I try not to, like, throw too many just wild theories out there, but The hives have
Yeah,
such
another
direct ties to them that I want to know.
you want to link all the things.
Yep, yep.
Another thing mentioned in that card that I found interesting was the fact that after taking the Emperor Raven, she is referred to as the Perfect Raven. The idea that being taken perfects a being. In some grimoire cards, the taken are actually described as being cleansed, free from the trappings of the material world in their new shape. And you know, some of the grimoire cards describing the different enemy units of taken that we encounter, they're almost benevolent in nature. Like this doctrine the Hive follow, the idea that they can deliver the universe into the final perfect shape by killing and testing a being's ability to exist. Why would Oryx extend a second chance, to be a part of the journey to the perfect shape by taking something rather than just killing it? I wonder.
You know, I think it. You know, you can even in this verse, he ends up, you know, considering the fact that everything curses him for his destructiveness, and so you know, I wonder if it's almost his way of preserving things that were almost capable of existing on their own.
Yeah, I
You know,
agree.
if he could see the value and the power of this the Taishabeth, if he could see the value in their ability, and he thus decided to preserve it in some small aspect.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Oh,
It interests me because you think of the Hive and you think genocide, but here he is extending redemption in his own crazy, twisted, dark, evil way.
yeah, it's
It's
interesting.
also interesting to point out that sorry, the taken blight infects our world. It infects reality itself, and yet they're still described as being cleansed. And at the same time, Oryx is calling our light an infection. So, according to people like Toland, the taken are more pure than us, and we're of the light. It's a strange kind of moral dilemma
Well,
there.
no, they're not pure in in a sense of like actual purity, but what they're pure in the sense that the hive
Pure of
understand
purpose.
well, they're pure in the sense that the hive understand perfection. The hive understand perfection in terms of something being at its absolute, you know, like final form of destruction. Everything in it has been destroyed that can be destroyed, leaving only that which can't. So it pulls apart all of the weakness maybe in a creature that it can. So I think taking is just a subversion of a creature's will to remove the weakness of its species and make it as perfect as the hive can
As possible.
understand.
It's just interesting that Toland seems to agree with that concept, considering that he is or was a guardian, one of the
Yeah,
light.
I don't know. Toland's interesting.
It's weird.
Okay, well, the next chapter part is really short. It's weird because I don't think there's a single one as short as this. Okay, so this next one is verse 4:1, Battle Made Waves. Oryx went down into his throne world. He went out into the abyss, and with each step he read one of his tablets, so that they became like stones beneath his feet. He went out and he created an altar, and he prepared an unborn ogre. He called on the deep, saying, I can see you in the sky. You are the waves, which are battles, and the battles are the waves. Come into this vessel I have prepared for you. And it arrived, the deep itself. Okay,
I've got a pretty crazy theory about this one.
I like crazy
Um,
theories.
Well, it says he summons an unborn ogre at the altar of Oryx,
Mm-hmm.
and the deep enters it as a vessel. This makes me think that these vessels are the blighted light carriers we see at the end of the raid, the ogres we have to kill. Because not only do they possess a power that is not their own and reside in a place called the altar of Oryx, but the power that they contain can be used to damage and ultimately kill Oryx. So I think it's talking about those ogres there. That's the only crazy theory I could come up with for that, but it seems to make sense.
That would make sense. I mean, like, it's
Also,
either...
ogres are often sacrifices for Hive Pantheon. So we see, like, Fogoth was the sacrifice for Crota, and
Huh.
he went through the ritual of being born to appease Crota's will.
Interesting.
But ogres are pretty much born to die or be sacrificed to
Or
become vessels of a god's will.
or sit in a cellar for forever waiting to irritate a whole bunch of guardians. Looking at you,
Guardian,
Golgoroth. Looking at you.
Ugh, I hate Golgoroth.
7
It's a
hours
weird
in that
spider
tiny room.
crab thing.
Yep. We called him a spoger. Spider ogre.
Spoga, I like that.
The spoger
I'm gonna use
Golgoroth. Alright, this is verse 4:2. Is majestic. I disagree with its description. Oryx, my king, my friend, kick back. Relax, shrug off that armor, set down that blade. Roll your burdened shoulders and let down your guard. This is a place of life, a place of peace. Out in the world, we ask a simple, true question. A question like, can I kill you? Can I rip your world apart? Tell me the truth, for if I don't ask, someone will ask it of me. And they call us evil. Evil! Evil means socially maladaptive. We are adaptiveness itself. Oryx, how do we explain it to them? The world is not built on the laws they love, not on friendship, but on mutual interest, not on peace, but on victory by any means. The universe is run by extinction, by extermination, by gamma ray bursts burning up 1,000 garden worlds, by howling singularities eating up infant suns. And if life is to live, anything is to survive through the end of all things. It will live not by the smile, but by the sword. Not in a soft place, but in a hard hell. Not in the rotting bog of artificial paradise, but in the cold, hard, self-verifying truth of the one ultimate arbiter, the only judge, the power that is its own metric and its own source, existence at any cost. Strip away the lies and truces and delaying tactics they call civilization, and this is what remains, this beautiful shape. The fate of everything is made like this. In the collision, the test of one praxis against another. This is how the world changes. One way meets a second way, and they discharge their weapons. They exchange their words and markets, they contest, and in doing so they petition each other for the right to go on being something instead of nothing. This is the universe figuring out what it should be in the end. And it is majestic. Majestic. It is the only thing that can be true in and of itself. And it is what I am. The deep can talk.
Apparently so.
It is
Kind
very...
of makes me think that this is the deep communing with Oryx after he summons it into the vessel.
Yeah, that's...
At least that makes sense.
Yep. That's the only circumstance that makes sense.
It's going on about the final perfect shape and how to achieve the final perfect shape and worship the final perfect shape. I'm sick of shapes.
Yeah,
Shapes.
we got...
Ruben's scared.
I scared Ruben. Yeah, we're all scared.
Happy Halloween.
Yeah. Towers decorated the mock death because we thought that was a good idea after killing Oryx. Yeah. We're very clever, Huskardians. And we're over here wearing Crota masks. Like, haha, we
I'm wearing your
killed.
dead son's face.
Yeah. Yeah, pretty much.
And I'm
Oh.
wearing his blood as my shader.
Yeah, that's just, we're all about that. Oh. Oh, and you're gonna do, man. Oh my.
Crota's got sick moves.
I think this is as taunting as it gets. I'm just gonna wait for the blade to fall out of the sky and, Crota's sword just
We'll
gonna
break
drop out
off
of
my head.
nowhere. Yep. The Traveler is a shape.
I'll sit down then.
The Traveler
The
is a shape.
traveler's a shape.
Maybe that's what this all is about. Maybe the perfect shape to the deep is like squares, and the Traveler believes in spheres. Maybe in
It's
the
like, I
end,
don't like smooth contours.
in
Kill
the
it.
end, that's all it's gonna be. It's just gonna be a showdown between squares and spheres.
Called it. It's gonna happen.
Yep, yep. Oh
This is
man,
a square.
yep. The deep is a square. The sky is a sphere.
Let's go on my Twitter. Hashtag deep is a square.
Oh man. Alright, verse 4:3. Titled When Do Monsters Have Dreams? Which, Lau, you had the good theory that this might actually be a dream. Like, I don't really have a better explanation than that. That seems the only thing
I
to
think it's
actually
dream
make
sequence.
sense. Yeah, it's the only thing that makes sense of the utter confusion that occurs in this verse. So, I'm going to read it, because that's my job here. I have one job on this ship. I'm walking down the road. I'm going to the orrery to talk to my dad, and I hear this noise. So I look back, and my sisters are behind me, and they're ripping up the road. They've got these huge swords, execution swords, and they're levering the stones out of the road. The stones are covered in writing. They're like tablets, and there's dirt underneath full of worms. I need to get to the orrery before they catch up to me, so I start running, but right away someone trips me. It's my dad. He's got his foot out, and he grabs me by the horns and just slams me down on my face. I'm in so much pain I nearly throw up a worm. "Why weren't you ready for this?" Dad says. He's wearing glare goggles, those shiny goggles that he'd use to save his vision during lightning storms or sea fire. All three of his eyes reflect me. "Didn't you know they'd be jealous because they couldn't come to the orrery and talk to me? Didn't you know they'd move against you?" I start wailing like I'm 2 days old again, and I say, "Dad, I thought you were my friend. I'm supposed to be safe here." But he just puts out his fist, and I realize he's laughing at me for believing him. Why did I think I'd be safe? In his fist, he's got a black sun, and he holds me by the throat and goes to tip the black sun inside me. I can see my jaws in his goggles, 3 reflections of my jaws with so many teeth. So I start eating my dad. I bite huge pieces out of him and I claw him up. I eat his legs and his arms and his goggles and his eyes, and he says, "Good, good, this is majestic and true." But my sisters are still tearing up the road, so I don't know how to get back. Yep. That just
got
happened.
Really weird, really fast.
Yeah, that just happened, everyone. I promise you can go look at the Grimoire card and it says exactly what I just said to you.
My idea about the scene is that it's a dream. Oryx dreaming about his past life when he was a she, Aurash, and applying the sword logic to her past, or his past now.
Huh. See, I also wondered if it's the manifest, but the problem is I don't know how to understand it as anything but a dream.
Well, it is entitled "When Do Monsters Have Dreams" or "When Monsters Do Dream." Or I can't remember.
Yeah, it's when do monsters have dreams, and so it makes sense. It's just weird. That's metal, though.
Oryx is a death metal band.
Oh, Oryx is so metal. Oh my word,
He is though.
that's too good. Oryx is so metal.
Can he collaborate with Death Acid? I think
Yeah,
he would
Death
make some good
Acid.
tunes.
Oh, Death Acid and the Taken King.
Yes, this needs to happen.
Yep. Oh, what would the title be? Let's see, what would the title of their first album be? Death Acid and the Taken King.
Take them all. There you
Take
go.
them all. There you go. That'd be good. That'd be good.
That's so going on my iPod.
There you go. Death Acid and the Taken King. Take them all. Oh, with the hit,
I
the
finally
hit,
got Milkshake.
with hit song. So I start eating my dad.
Oh my god.
Oh
So
man,
metal though.
it is. It's so metal. I hate my dad. Yep.
You actually did, Baz? I'm worried for you. Maybe you should go see a doctor. Or a psychiatrist.
Okay, so on to the next verse. Is verse 4:4 more beautiful to know? Sometimes I wonder if I'm a nihilist. I don't do much except break things. That's what they say about me. We could have had a great civilization if it weren't for that damn Oryx, that damn hive. They don't believe in anything but death. The only way to make something good is to make something that can't be broken. And the only way to do that is to try to break everything. I'm glad I learned that the universe runs on death. It's more beautiful to know. But I'm lost somewhere strange. I think that Savathun and Xivu Arath are trying to steal the tablets from me. They must have cut off my tribute while I was away communing with the deep. I love them so dearly. No one else is clever or strong enough to try and break me. No one else can give me this gift. Once, long ago, I killed Xivu Arath on her war moon, and she blew up the whole moon to kill me with her. She was laughing in joy. I laughed too. A whole moon. A whole moon. It was a waste of a moon, but it taught me how to save myself from exploding worlds, which was necessary to fight the Ecumen. I love mighty Xivu more than a moon loves the tide. I'll kill her for this, over and over, forever and ever. When I get home from my wanderings in the deep, and I take back my throne, I'm going to have children. That's what I need. Sons and daughters to love and kill.
If they find it, can they contain it?
And the Bad Parenting Award goes to...
Yeah, that's so metal. We all need a shrink. This is just...
Yep.
It's so...
This is really going into, like, how for the Hive, love and death, even though those two things are pretty polar opposite in our morality, in their morality they are the same.
Yep.
Because the greatest gift you can give someone as a member of the Hive that you love is knowledge and power to overcome death by killing them over and over because they are immortal.
Yep. If you
love and death are the same.
if you love something, then in the Hive you're supposed to kill it. That's the way. I don't encourage this line of belief. Just stating that now. I disagree with the Hive. Do not kill the things you love.
So don't go killing any of your relatives or pets or
Anything. Yeah, they won't come back stronger. That's not how it works, guys. Just in the Hive. None of us have our own sword realms or throne realms or anything like that. We don't have the ability to magically survive being annihilated. Oh.
strange Hive morality.
Well, and it's so weird because you would think that Oryx would be mad, but you read this verse and in context, he's just happy. He's like, oh, Xivu and Savathun are smart enough and strong enough to kill me. or at least try, and that's great. I wish everyone was strong enough to try and kill me. What? What?
That's like he's showing that kind of love and affection to his sisters because he wants them to survive. He cares about them, and in turn, when he has children, he will care about his children in exactly the same way.
He probably thinks
Parenting's weird.
he didn't kill Crota enough.
Yeah, Crota needs some more killing. He's a bit rambunctious.
Yep, yep. An interesting thing is that Xivu and Savathun were both brought back from being killed in the Sword Realm.
When Oryx conquered the Ecumen.
Yeah. So, theoretically, enough killing in the right format can bring back any of them. And Oryx...
It's what they embody that brings them back. So, like, Divya Wrath came back after Oryx slaughtered the Ecumen. She said, "I am war, therefore you have brought me back by making war." And then he tricks one of the Ecumen's client races, and Savathun comes back and says, "Oh, I am cunning and trickery. You have tricked them. I am back." Blah blah blah.
Yeah.
Oryx's long thought and the thirst for knowledge.
Everybody stop thinking!
Stop thinking! We need to have a censorship on thinking.
Yep.
But isn't that what we do as Guardians? We kill to understand.
No, we Guardians are basically practicing sword logic.
Yeah, we are.
Really,
I think this is mentioned in one of the Grimoire cards where Toland's like, "Oh, when you killed Oryx, you played your part well. You played the sword logic perfectly, and you've killed the king, and now you can be the king." And I'm like, "Oh, Toland, you scare me."
Well, just from even in-game perspective, we gain experience by killing things, and that makes us stronger.
That sword logic.
Yep, that's essentially all it is what you kill makes you stronger. Anybody want to rewrite the song?
Eris says quite a few times that to even exist in the Hive Ascendant realm, you must abide by the sword logic whether or not you agree with it, or else you would die. You kill to survive in the sword realm. We killed our way to Crota. We killed our way to Oryx. We're just validating their view and truth of the universe by doing so.
Well,
whilst trying to defeat it. It's a bit hypocritical.
Well, we're validating their understanding of power and progression. We're not necessarily understanding their or validating their understanding of the ultimate shape of the universe. We're back to shapes again. I'm sorry. I brought us back to shapes.
Shapes.
So, I mean, in a sense, yes, we are definitely following the same path and how we gain power. But our understanding of what that power's purpose is very different. Like, we aren't following the highest path in it that everything should be tested in the same way. Otherwise we wouldn't be protecting the last city. And we are fighting desperately.
Destroying it.
We are desperately fighting to preserve that ideology of peace and civilization and the things that they say, are ruining everything in the world.
We're just employing the same techniques that they are for the inverse goal of their own.
Yeah. Which is
kind of creepy.
It is. But fight fire with fire?
Very true.
Yeah. Well, on to the next verse, which is verse 4-5. This love is war. Xivu upon Oryx, uttered by Xivu Arath, sibling of Oryx. Betrayal. We have marooned Oryx within the deep. This is our obligation as lords of the hive, to make war upon each other, to eradicate weakness and make ourselves sharp. Obligations. Once, I permitted Oryx to kill me, so that he could gain the sword logic and overcome Akka, our god. This left me trapped deep in my throne, but Oryx, my brother, made war upon the Ecumen, and in that war he described me, for I too am war. Thus I was resurrected. Savathun and I conspired to strand Oryx on his expedition. Sorry about that. But I secretly believe that I will be stronger with Oryx to war against. Thus, I describe him. A description of Oryx. When Oryx looks upon you, you feel that you may vanish if he looks away. The crest of Oryx's skull is as long as an arm. In the course of its life, a thought moves from one end to the other. Upon his crest I have painted a line in my blood, so that he will remember me. Each of Oryx's fangs has the precision of a finger and the acuity of an eye. Although he was born at the bottom of the universe and taught to burrow, Oryx has grown wings. The light of wildfire shines through them. Oryx teaches, but he will not be taught. Oryx's body is corded with strength. His sinews and his muscles are as strong as his children, and his children are the strength of him. Oryx wears a raiment of worm silk made from the cowl of gods. The voice of Oryx may cause two different numbers to become equal. Oryx, my brother, is the bravest thing I know. Upon fundament he learned that we were the natural prey of the universe, the most frail and desperate of things. He thought about this carefully, and he found a way to fix it. He made us strong. He will lead us into eternity. Oryx, my brother, loves me. And this love is war. Yep.
More weird family love death stuffs.
Yep. I mean,
I'm really happy that my sister doesn't love me enough to kill me. I don't think it would go down very well.
yeah. 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 It is interesting that Savathun or Xivu resurrects Oryx just by describing him after killing him again.
Yeah.
So, don't describe Oryx, anybody. Just in case.
Just take that image out of your mind.
Yeah, just
Put it in
forget
the
about
corner.
him. Forget about Oryx.
Who's Oryx?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. This next one we get to meet an old friend of ours.
Oh, I love this one.
Verse 4:6, the Eater of Hope. You are Crota, my son. Welcome. I fought my way out of hell to make you. I fought my traitor siblings, and I fought the swarming corpse of Akka, and I cut my way back into my own court, the High War, which had been usurped. Once I had made war on Savathun and crippled her tribute so that she could never challenge me. And once I had tricked Xivu Arath and poisoned her tribute so that she could never again try take my tablets. And I once had arranged my own lineages so that I would be the greatest among the hive and secure on my throne. Then I found a mother to make my spawn. One of those spawn was you. Your life will be a battle too. You will have to win your place at the High War. I will give you nothing. Except this, your first sword and this name I have prepared for you. We fight a war against false hope, Crota. We chase a god called the Traveler, a huckster god who baits young life into building houses for it. These houses are unsafe, for they cannot stand against my hive, and these houses are a trap, for they lead the young life away from the blade and tooth, which are the tools of survival and the means of ascension. Only when the traveler is extinguished will the universe be free to arrange itself and assume by ruthless contest its final, perfect shape, a shape which depends on nothing but itself. Thus I name you Crota, Eater of Hope. There is an oath upon me, Crota, my son, an oath against the wretched Teox. This I do not give to you. It is for me, your father, to bear. Let's go meet your aunts and uncles. Yep.
I'm wearing that guy's face.
Yep, we've got his face on.
Ugly face.
There you go.
Don't taunt me. That's rude.
I was taunting the traveler. I was taunting the traveler.
In the corner, like, taunts LouRou.
I'm taunting the traveler while wearing Crota's head.
It's interesting that the Eater of Hope, I always thought that was a name given to Crota, like a handle given to him by Guardians. But no, his dad called him that.
Yeah, he titled him.
It's putting a lot of pressure on your son there, Oryx. Like,
Yeah, just
all the things you expect him to do.
He's got a lot to live up to,
Crota's a bit
being
of
the
a
son of the
rebel
Taken
anyway.
King.
The heir to the Osmium throne.
Yeah. Shame that he's, already dead. We kind of killed him with his own sword. It's a little bit impolite of us.
Which his dad gave to him.
Yeah, we killed him with his own sword that he got from his dad. I think that's about as insulting as it gets.
Yeah, pretty much.
Oh. Alright, verse 4:7. Shapes. Points. Look at you. Already you are grown, my daughter. Already you are a wizard. Have I been away so long? Now you are Ir Anuk, and Savathun cackles and rages at your brilliance. You have written 11 axioms describing the Ascendant Planes, our throne world. You have announced that you will kill one of these axioms, as Akka would kill the truth, and in mantling Akka you will become a god, as I am. If you try it, I may kill you, or I may applaud. Well done. I brought you this bitter acid for your celebrations. And you, Ir Halak, you are a wizard too, as is the way of twins. I have been with Xivu of Wrath, who complains that you have made a song and sung it in her throne world, and killed everyone who listened, quite irrevocably. Will we have songs instead of swords and boomers? What have you made for me? It is a tooth shaped like death. I will keep it in my mouth. What have you written for me? It is the course of the Nietzsche thought ship. I will track it down. I made you by cutting one larvae in half. It would not die. Each half grew into one of you. My sword is named Willbreaker, but it never broke you.
Oh, that's just touching, isn't it?
Yeah, it's about as sweet as you might get out of Oryx.
What notes have I got on this? Oh yeah, the mention of the Death Singer song in this was really interesting. So
Yeah.
we can attribute the creation of the Death Singer song to Ihalak. She created the song for her father, and it has the ability to kill whoever hears its words. And this led me into thinking, well, how come they don't die when they sing the song? And Toland explores this, and he came to the conclusion that the Death Singers are immortal. They are not mere living creatures, as if they were, their own song would destroy them if they sang it. They are in fact death incarnate, and death itself can never be killed.
Oh, well,
And
that's
if you
great news.
notice the death ceremony story mission in the Taken King, Yut is there. After we killed her, we killed her to stop her destroying us with her song before we get to Crota. And again, you can kill the twins in the same death ceremony, and they pop up in the raid again. So it's safe to assume that Death Singers, no matter how many times you kill them, they will always come back. Which is pretty terrifying because it means that the daughters we killed could turn up again at any point and be like, you killed my brother and my father, and I'm going to sing you out of existence.
Oh, that would be
That's one grudge you don't want to bear.
Can you imagine having to do a raid against the sisters where the boss the entire time? I don't know how many of you have listened to just a bunch of the Destiny Taken King soundtrack, but there's a track that's just the Death Singers song.
It's horrible.
Yeah.
It's horrible.
Can you imagine having to listen to that during the entire boss fight? Like
Oh my
an
God,
intense version of
horrible.
that.
Like a death metal version of the Death Singers song.
It would just go endlessly until they were both dead. That would be it would, like just the sounds of it would wreck you. You wouldn't be able to do anything.
Just all this screaming.
Yeah.
It makes me wonder if we will see Earnook and Irhalak again, because they theoretically can pop up wherever they like. They could pop up right in front of us now, you know?
Yeah, well, I mean, we have to
cut a wound in the world and just appear and be like, I'm gonna sing you a song, you know? It's gonna be bad.
we have to kill them eventually. We can't let them live. They're Hive. And, you know, what are we if not genocidal guardians?
Somehow I think the only way to kill a Death Singer is to actually kill all the worm gods, because then you take away the source of their immortality.
Huh. I wonder if they require tribute to fuel their power.
I imagine they would. They're part of the chain of tribute. They're second to Oryx.
Interesting. Well, on to verse 4, part 8, which is titled The Partition of Death. It's a happy thing. One day, Oryx decided to grow new wings. While he wrestled with his worm, he came upon his twin daughters dying in a wound between places. "What are you doing, my daughters?" he asked. He was afraid that Irhalak and Iranook were trying to go into the deep, where only the tablets of ruin allowed Oryx to go. "We are dying, father," they said, "as many times as we can manage." "That's adorably precocious," Oryx shook out his new wings. "But why?" "We propose a method by which ascendant souls can be detached and integrated into a tautological and autonomous thanatosphere, which we tentatively term an oversoul. Oversouls can be stored in a throne world as a mechanism of enhanced death resilience. As a side effect, new refinements to our death song may be achieved, moving us closer to a generally effective paracausal death impulse." Oryx brandished his sword. "Speak the royal tongue, or I'll pin you up for air to eat. If we can separate our deaths from ourselves and hide them, we will be hard to kill." Oryx went to his son, Crota. "Go keep an eye on your sisters," he said. "You can learn cunning from them." But while Oryx traveled to observe the deep destroy an ancient fortress world, Crota conspired with his sisters to learn their secrets. "I, too, will experiment with a wound," he said. With his sword, Crota cut open a new wound into a new space, and here he thought he might obtain a secret power. Out of this wound came machines called Vex. They invaded Oryx's throne world. So,
Someone's been a bad boy.
just going through this one piece by piece. First, Oryx decided he wanted new wings, because I guess, you know, in the length of things, sometimes he decides that his wings aren't good enough anymore. I don't know. And then I just want to read that section from the sisters explaining what they're doing. Like, "We propose a method by which ascendant souls can be detached and integrated into a tautological and autonomous thanatosphere." Like, really? Like, whoever was writing this just had a lot of fun right there. And then Oryx basically says, "Speak plainly or I'm gonna kill you."
Thanatosphere basically translates as like Thanato basically translates as the study of death, and sphere is obviously a shape, so it translates as death sphere. Why can't an oversoul be called a death sphere? It
Oh, there we
sounds
go.
so cool.
Oh, that would be the name. It wouldn't be take them all. It would be Death Sphere.
Death sphere.
Yeah.
I like that.
And it'd at least be a song, Death Sphere. It'd have to use the
But
words
yeah, it
tautological.
does all make sense. Oh yes, definitely. Those words do make sense, but you have to. They're like mostly they're two different words stuck together, so they don't appear in any dictionary. So you
Yeah.
have to go digging around the internet for
Well,
what
I
they
mean,
mean.
it all makes sense when you really spend the time to understand it. It's just, it's like Oryx said, speak plainly or I'll kill you. And then Oryx, I saw a whole bunch of people raving about how the Hive created the Vex.
I didn't
And
create the
yeah,
Vex.
no, they just let them in.
They already existed. They opened a wound in reality to another dimension and time, and Vex just came through from that world because they already existed.
Yep. So it is the Hive's fault that we're having to deal with the Vex right now, but the Hive
Oh,
did not make
definitely,
the
yeah.
Vex.
Just want to clear that one up.
Yeah, I saw that and I was like, no, that can't be true. That
I've
would be
seen that
so
around as
disappointing.
well.
That'd just be lame. Like, and if that were true, then Oryx would have just taken all of the Vex as soon as they turned.
Exactly. And the Vex wouldn't fight against the Hive, if that was
Nope.
true.
All right, so verse 4:9. Open your eye, go into it. The Vex clattered around, constructing large problems. At first, their constructions were deranged because they didn't understand the sword logic, which defined all rules in Oryx's throne world. The geometry perplexed them. I'll cut them apart, said Crota. But just then, the Vex ritual of better thoughts manifested a mind called Quiria. Blade transform. Quiria deduced the sword logic. I have to kill everything, Quiria resolved. Then I will be powerful. Crota's gate began to emit warrior Vex. Huge and brassy, he leapt forward to fight them, but they blinked away. After they fled from Crota, they killed 2,000 of Oryx's acolytes and 10,000 of his thrall. Soon they had established themselves as powers in this world, by right of slaughter. Come forth, sister wizards, called Ir-Halak. We need you. Ir-Anuk pulled a sword star out of the sky. Together the wizards charged it with killing power and made an annihilator totem, which they used to smash the Vex. Close the wound, brother Crota, Anuk ordered. We will find a cunning way to destroy them, but only after they stop constructing problems on us. But Quiria had instanced itself to the other side of the gate and built a holdfast to keep the way open. Quiria's objective was to exploit the paracausal physics of Oryx's throne to become divine. It organized a series of test invasions. For 100 years of local time, the siblings fought the Vex. When the Vex came into the Sword World, they were inevitably annihilated, but when the Hive went into the Vex World, they lost too much of their power to win. Father's going to eat our souls, Halak sighed. Quiria captured some worm larvae and began experimenting with them. Soon, Quiria, Blade Transform, manifested religious tactics. By directing worship at the worms, Quiria learned it could alter reality with mild ontopathogenic effects. Being an efficient machine, Quiria manufactured a priesthood and ordered all its subminds to believe in worship. Then it set about abducting and killing dangerous organisms so it could bootstrap itself to Hive godhood. For some Vex reason, Quiria never attempted to introduce worm larvae into its mind fluid. Savathun was laughing because she had tricked Crota into cutting that place. This drew attention of the worm, our god. Oryx, called Air. Set your house in order.
The things they get up to when Oryx is away.
Yep. It's really entertaining that it was basically just a bunch of mischievous kids, you know, like,
Yeah. Mischievous godchildren.
yep. You know, it's just like if Thor had decided to go, you know, play around, except with more paracausal effects.
It's interesting we find out why the Annihilator totems exist in that. Those things that made us wipe so many times.
Yep. Well, there's that, and
They exist to kill Vex.
yeah, we
That's
get
what
to
they were
find
built
out.
for.
We find out why the Vex worship. Like,
Yes, this is a big thing.
they worship because that's how they obtained power against the Hive, and then it just remained part of their functions.
The Vex are like the Hive in that they wish to become a part of reality so that they cannot be wiped out. They
Yeah.
have this weird phobia of being utterly destroyed.
Yeah.
Hence why they created the Vault of Glass and worship the Heart of the Black Garden, because they believe those things are a means to obtaining immortality. And the fact that Quria comes into the Sword Realm, deduces the sword logic, and works out how to become a god, that's scary. And like you say, the religious worship becomes a useful tool rather than just superstition. It grants power. That was so strange when, like, in the main campaign, the vanilla story, why would machines, even things that aren't truly machines, they're organic constructs, why would something like that worship something superstitious? It didn't
Exactly.
make sense, but now it makes sense, because worship of the right being gains you power, gains you immortality. And that's what the Vex want.
Oh man, it's, you know, it's fascinating because Destiny in its plot is not really about characters. It's not really about, I mean, in the story that we can't, you know, see in the core game, or it's not really displayed before us, but it's ultimately about ideals.
Concepts. Yeah.
Ideals and concepts. The Vex want to ascend mortality. The Hive want to perfect the universe through carving it into its shape. Pumpkins. The universe is a pumpkin according to the Hive. It's just
a
a
Jackalight. There you go.
yeah,
Confirmed.
the universe is just a really big pumpkin according to the Vex, or according to the Hive. Hashtag the universe is a pumpkin. I like that.
Yeah, that's going on my Twitter right now.
I think the Fallen's theme really boils down to redemption almost.
Oh, definitely. They're trying to redeem themselves in their god's eyes so that it will save them from annihilation.
And we don't really know enough about the Cabal to understand their theme. But, you know, in a lot of games, alien species and everything, they're ultimately just species that are used as backdrops for characters that then are the source of your story. But Destiny, the races and creatures and everything, they are built around themes that the characters are then backdrops for, rather than vice versa.
I think that's why so many people find this story lackluster or confusing, because, like you say, in so many games, everything is character driven. To have something that's based on abstract concepts is quite difficult for the average person to understand or even be interested in, because it's basically the study of philosophy.
Yep.
That's nerdy, according to a lot of people.
Well, it's not as much everybody's thing as characters are, and I mean, I love characters. It's my favorite thing. But I love that Destiny. I feel like when we get to Destiny 2, one, I don't think it's going to be rated teen, because I don't think they can have the kind of story they want. If you read the Grimoire, I don't think it can be in game, mostly just because it's so dark. Which is why I don't think that if they really want to deliver their story, I don't expect Destiny 2 to be teen. I just, unless they squeeze by like Dark Souls did.
How that ever got away with that, I don't know.
Yep. Um, and
It's only
so
teen because of marketing and sales. Teen games sell the most.
I think that we will see a story that takes these philosophical themes and ideals and has these characters, these clever and intellectual characters. We've seen Cade. Everybody loves Cade. We've seen that Bungie knows how to deliver a character that you're gonna love, and I think we're gonna see those as the backdrop and the progression point for these crazy themes that it's just I expect to see a brilliant story.
I want to see a darker story. Definitely.
I want to see a more meaningful story. I mean, I loved Taken King was a blast for sure. Yeah, that's true, Brute. That's true. Destiny isn't gory, but its lore is really gory. But
I think it's beyond gory.
I feel like
It's just perverse.
it's true. But the Taken King kind of boiled down into, oh, there's a big bad guy who can take things and make them his own. Let's go shoot him with a gun. You know, he'll die to terrestrial bullets, right? And so I would like to see a story that doesn't just boil down to that so much. You know, I want to see them really deliver these themes that they're holding in. So
I want to see something that we can't kill.
yeah, that'd be nice. I'm sorry, that was really off topic. I just kind of went on a rant there.
It was very interesting, though. I share your opinion.
Oh, okay. I'll bring us back on track with verse.
2 more cards. You can do it. And you
Yeah,
go to bed.
verse 4, part 10. An emperor for all outcomes. Oryx rushed home and read from the tablets of ruin. He put some of the Vex into wounds to be taken by the power of the deep. Thus he turned the Vex against each other. Quiria manifested a range of tactics, but none of them were adaptive. Oryx crushed all the Vex in his throne. Oryx thought that he should study geometry like the Vex. It was the map of perfect shapes. But first he had to punish imperfection. "My son," he said, "this is your punishment. Come home glorious, or die forgotten." He picked up Crota by the legs and threw him into the Vex Gate network. Crota battled through history, becoming a legendary demon. In his early centuries, he often spared a few victims to hear oaths and protests against his father. Later, he came to understand Oryx, and he made temples and monuments wherever he went. Meanwhile, Oryx brooded on the Vex. "I've met a worthy rival," he said. "They want to exist forever, just as I do, but I don't understand them." At this his worm began to chew on him, for he was bound to understand. He called Savathun to meet in the material world. She told him that the Vex worked tirelessly to understand everything, so that they could build a victory condition for every possible end state of the universe. "Then I must be a better king," Oryx said. "If they want to build an emperor for all outcomes, then I will be the king of only one. I will follow the deep wherever it goes and document its power. Let us create a catalogue of the grave of worlds, which will be our map to victory." Oryx knew that all life could be described as cellular automata, except for that life which understood the deep or the sky, and thus escaped causality. Out of love for her brother, which was the same as the desire to kill him, Savathun leaked a secret to Xivu Arath. "Listen, Xivu. Oryx's throne world has been compromised. You can cut your way in from here." Xivu Arath used this plan to plan an ambush. But Oryx was too canny. The Taken King said to his court, the High War, "My throne world is vulnerable. I am going to move it." "Where?" asked Kagor, the world vendor. "Into a mighty dreadnought," said Oryx. "I shall keep my glorious mind cosmos inside a titanic warship." Yep.
That's how he builds the dreadnought.
Yep, he took his giant world and stuck it in a ship.
Just because he could.
Which is why you travel from the dreadnought into his sword realm, which is just more of the dreadnought.
It could be argued that the entire interior of the dreadnought is just fills the contours.
You're cutting out there, Lau.
Why?
Yeah.
Is that any better?
That's a lot better.
But yeah, it could be argued the entire inside of the dreadnought is his sword realm, as he pushed his realm inside out, as we'll see in the next card, to fill the entire space.
Huh.
I
Interesting.
think going through the Ascendant portal, we just teleport to, like you say, a different part of the dreadnought that isn't accessible by any other means than teleportation.
Interesting. Huh.
It's
Okay.
interesting to note that the Vex that he takes in his throne world could account for the vision that the Vex receive in the Paradox story mission on Venus, in which they foresee their total annihilation in every possible timeline at the hands of Oryx taking them, which is why they let us into the Vault of Glass and ask for our help, even though we are enemies, and we do help them, much to Praedyth's annoyance.
Yeah.
But it could be argued that they let us in because they foresaw also in every possible timeline that we were the only ones who could kill Oryx. It was an alliance of necessity. They'll go back to killing us soon.
I would much rather fight the Vex for the rest of eternity than fight the
Me
Hive.
too. Yes.
Any day of the week. Oh. At least the Vex don't, eat their parents.
Yeah. I don't think they have parents though. Or maybe they did, but they don't anymore.
I know, now they're all just liquid. Mind goo.
Vex milk.
Vex milk. Alright, this is the last Grimoire card of the day. It is verse 411, Dreadnought. To make his ship, Oryx scrimshawed one piece of Akka, who was dead but far from gone. He stole the hammer of Zivo-Arath and the scalpel of Savathun, and he armored his ship in baneful armor. When Oryx had built his dreadnought, he pushed his throne world inside out, so that it bled into the material space of the dreadnought. They were coterminous and allied in his ship and his sin. The dreadnought was within the throne of Oryx, but the throne of Oryx was the dreadnought, Ayat. This required a verse from the Tablets of Ruin. The whole court worked together to push Oryx's throne inside out. This was a day of joyous violence, and all of Oryx's broods mark this holiday as Aversion Day, which is celebrated by turning things inside out. That's a really gross holiday. Saith Oryx,
It is.
"Go out into the universe, my court. Gather tribute for me. Send it home to my... Oh no. No. Well, guys, we just got weaseled. I hope you can still hear me as I'm being weaseled. Just, let me know. If you're in the chat and you can hear me, let me know. Can you hear me, chat? Hello? Okay, cool. Just making sure. I'm never, I don't have a little symbol thingy saying that I'm talking, and so I can't know. Oh, can't believe I just got weaseled. No respect, Bungie. No respect at all. No respect for the lore stream. That hurts. Now we're loading. Hoping to not get the secondary weasel. I don't know how many of you have experienced that cool thing where you get weaseled and then you get weaseled. Destiny's like, we weaseled you after we weaseled you so that you can be weaseled while you're being weaseled. It's not very nice. All right. Orbits. Let's see if we can get LouRou back here. We'll just finish out floating in space, because that's a fun place. Oh, look at all the hearts in the chat. The chat is full of love. I'm getting really tired, guys. I probably should just stick to reading Grimoire and talking less. Come on. Hey, there we go.
Having fun.
Yeah, I got weaseled. It was ridiculous.
What did you get?
Yeah.
Oh, weasel! What a surprise.
Yeah, thankfully I didn't get weaseled after I got weaseled. It was good.
Oh, yeah. I always get canaried, then Marion buried after weasel. In that order.
Yeah, I either get weaseled, then weaseled, or weaseled and then canaried and then weaseled. It's a zoo. Destiny's just a zoo.
We need like a culling or something. There's too many weasels.
Yeah, no joke. It's like in Australia they had a war on emus. We need a war on weasels.
Yeah. War on weasels. And that'd be another track on our album. War on weasels.
right after Death Sphere, War on Weasels.
And I ate my dad.
Yep. This would be such a great album. Oh,
It
man.
would.
I wish I knew a metal band, you know?
Yeah.
I'd have them write it for me. Okay. Where were we? I'm gonna backtrack a little bit.
The dreadnought.
Yeah, I'm gonna backtrack.
Turning things inside out.
Yeah. This required a verse from the Tablet of Ruin. The whole court worked together to push Oryx's throne inside out. This was a day of joyous violence, and all of Oryx's broods mark this holiday as a Version Day, which is celebrated by turning things inside out. Saith Oryx, "Go out into the universe, my court. Gather tribute for me. Send it home to my ship. When I call you, walk up that tribute to my court. I will prepare for long voyages. I am Savathun, insidious. Into the war, I graffiti this notice for you. Into the deep, these books are full of lies." Now Oryx's throne was safe from incursion, because it moved so nimbly. Oryx attacked the harmonious flotilla Invincible, who guarded the Nietzsche thought ship. When the flotilla surrounded his dreadnought, Oryx put his sword into the hull, and he used the power of the deep and the clever systems his daughters built to push his throne world out into mere reality. By wrath and confidence he filled space with an egg of his throne. It swelled up like a ghost star to smash the harmonious flotilla Invincible. Oryx broke the last word off their name. In the Nietzsche thought ship, Oryx hoped to find the location of the gift mast, which had been left behind by the traveler. Oryx wanted to eat it, but the thought ship was a trap. Upon it was Quiria, blade transform. Okay, so
The plot thickens.
there's a couple interesting things in this one here. First is, I am Savathun Insidious. I graffitied this notice for you. These books are full of lies. Those are written, in between, not parenthesis, but the squarier ones, whatever those are called. My
The
brain's not.
square shapes.
Yeah, they're
Brackets? I don't
yeah,
know.
brackets. I think that's right. So those are written in like brackets, in between the words here. I'll just copy it into the chat for you guys. Okay, so look at that. So what's going on here, as far as I can guess, is that Savathun snuck into wherever Oryx was doing his writing and carved that into his book. Which was either Savathun very cleverly trying to ensure that whenever somebody found all this, they would, not believe it all, or our understanding of the hive as it comes from this book is completely and utterly false.
That would be something she would do.
Yep. It was either to, protect the understanding of the sword logic in the deep by, insinuating that it's all a lie. Or it's all a lie.
She's a liar, so I'd take that with a pinch of salt.
Yeah.
It'd be true. It'd be a lie. I wouldn't trust her as far as I could throw, which probably isn't very far, seeing as she's a giant hive. God.
Yeah, she's probably got a decent arm on her. So there's that for everyone. And then I like that Oryx says that he broke the last word off of the Harmonious Flotilla Invincible. It was just the Harmonious Flotilla after that.
He's like, get wrecked.
Yep, pretty much.
The other two things that interest me in this is he said he took a piece of Akka, one piece for his dreadnought, the armor from the outside. How big is Akka?
Oh,
If
that's
one
true.
piece of this worm god can cover a whole dreadnought in armor,
Well,
it's a pretty big worm god.
assuming
Uh,
that it's it's an Ahamkara and subsequently a dragon, it's just a big space dragon.
Space dragons, there you go.
Yeah.
And another thing which I thought was pretty cool was the power which he describes as being an egg of his throne world is the same power that we see in the cutscene where the Awoken fleet is destroyed.
Okay.
He plunges his sword into the hull, releases that energy burst, and just kills everything within the radius of the dreadnought. So I
Yeah.
think that's what he did to the Harmonious Flotilla Invincible that is no longer invincible.
Yeah, that
Same
sounds right.
thing.
Um,
So we can assume that Marasov is physically dead. Whether or not her soul is spiritually dead is another matter, but,
yeah.
with her plan with the Harbingers and all, she might be alive in some form. But I think it's safe to assume her body is dead after that kind of thing.
Yeah.
There's no way someone can withstand the energies of a throne world being thrust out at them like that.
It probably
Anything
has
that's
some.
not ascendant would die.
Yeah. So there you go. That's that entire verse 4. Do we have any questions,
Lots to
chat?
cover in that one.
Yeah, there was. Oh, come on, chat. Do you have any questions about verse 4? Or any of the past verses and how they relate to verse 4? Now we sit for the awkward silence of waiting for everyone to hear me ask them for questions. I don't like the delay.
That time lapse.
Yeah, I really don't like it. It's
We can always talk about Death Acid in the meantime.
That's true. We can, Death Acid is always a good topic.
Definitely. Oh, it brings me back to the Crota days. It was so simple then.
It was.
Kill a giant radioactive alien, go home wearing his blood. He probably isn't radioactive, but he looks it. He's glowing.
Well, that's an interesting question. Theoretically, if we are now ascendant, Oryx's Sword Realm Blast wouldn't it just teleport us to him? Or would it even phase us? Because it would just be an extension of his realm.
And to be ascendant is to survive in that realm.
So theoretically,
That's a good question.
and it wouldn't kill us. It would probably destroy anything on us that wasn't anything that, like ships or anything that we were on, because they wouldn't necessarily be ascendant from our presence.
Yeah, a ship is just like a tool.
Yeah.
Though saying that, there is the Ascendant Blade, and the Ascendant Blade is an object that is ascendant, so
True,
you can
but
make
like
your ship ascendant.
our
You're
gears.
killing enough things with it.
Yeah, that makes sense. And our gear is considered ascendant.
That is a really good question. Thanks,
Yeah.
Baz. I knew you'd come up with something good.
Hmm. Okay. Well, that's our question. We covered our verse. I think we're done here. Oh, no. There we go. Yeah, geek, deek. I don't know. There's just the English language. You look at a name and you have to guess. So I'm sorry if I have your name wrong, but no. What happened is that oh, I'm losing Lao. I lost Lao. That explains that. That was strange. I think Lao got hit with some error codes as well. But what happened, geek, is that Crota was playing around trying to find more power, and Savathun tricked him into carving his path right into where the Vex were, so that he would pull all the Vex straight into Oryx's sword realm, because Savathun is a mean trickster. So the Hive did not create the Vex. They just basically, brought them into our corner of the neighborhood. Oh, there we go. Welcome back, Lau.
You're giving me your error codes. It's like a plague. It's infecting everyone.
It is.
I got canary though.
Gotcha, canaries. I don't like canaries. I explained to Geek in the chat that the Hive just invited the Vex into our corner of the neighborhood, but did not in fact create them.
Yeah. They came through in a wound that Crota was tricked into cutting by Savathun.
Yep. All right, guys.
YouTube video saying that they created the Vex. It's not true. Don't
Indeed.
listen. Listen
Don't
to
believe
us.
it. We know better. We read more. Oh, okay.
We read all this stuff early in the morning for you.
Early in the morning. We love you all that much.
Yeah, we do.
All right. Well,
did we answer all the questions?
Yeah, it seems so. So I'm gonna call us done. It has been fantastic. We've actually this is the most viewers we've had like for the whole time. So I'm definitely liking the morning slot. Tell your friends about the Safe Gamers, Safe Gamer channel, all the streams we do. I think that Folgers we have someone streaming in about an hour. I think, right? I can't remember because our schedule is a little out of whack.
Schedule.
But I know we have at least one other stream later today or tonight, so make sure you check back with the Safe Gamers channel or pay attention on Band where there will be an announcement. No matter who's streaming, it's always fun around here, so it's always worth catching. If you aren't following the Safe Gamers Twitch, then you should follow it, because, then you'll get email announcements, and you don't even have to pay attention to Band. You can just pay attention to other things, and that's great. Because who wants to deal with hassle? So once again, thank you all for being here. It has been absolutely awesome. We love doing this. And we'll catch you later. This has been the Tower's Watch, and we're signing off.